Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 5v5 cast on Adaptive Sylvia. And before we get into introducing our players, with Team 1 in the top, Team 2 in the bottom, please consider going down below and clicking all the buttons like, dislike, subscribe, comment, super thanks, and join, all super useful and help the channel out a ton. Now, without a further ado, let's get into introducing our players, starting with the green UEF, going first land by the name of Quiet Storm. And then up to the north of him, we have a red Cybran going first land by the name of Monda. And then to his southeast, we have a brown UEF, and his name is Janus Prime. And moving on to the east, we have ourselves a purple Cybran, and he has started first land, and his name is Turbo 3. Then we have a blue Cybran going first air by the name of Swackle. And with all of those players introduced, time to get on to Team 2. We're going to start in the southwest with the gray, dark green, very dark colored Seraphim going first air by the name of the Wheelie. Then we have ourselves a maroon Seraphim going first land, and his name is Slado Noob. And then we have ourselves a cyan Aeon, best color, best faction. We're rooting for this man. His name is Soul Ripper 77. And then over to the southeast, we have a white UEF going first land, and his name is Orokamono, and he is rocking this position. As we move on to our last player, a pink Aeon getting T1 bombed by the name of Valone. That first bomber coming out from Swackle. We do get to pick up on its aggression very early on. Let's go ahead and track it, as it doesn't seem there's much on the field to stop this at this given moment. That bomber already up now to 1 kill, and working on getting more, picks up 2 more kills onto the engineers of Soul Ripper. Up to 3 if he drops another bomb, which he does onto this other engineer of Soul Ripper, will bring him up to 4 kills in that first rank of veterancy. Very happy days coming out from this bomber from Swackle here in the early game. He's going to be enjoying this muchly, as the Zeus is going to run away from a mobile anti-air, will manage to get out of the range of it just in time, maybe be able to pick up yet another engineer kill if he's lucky, or 3, and that will give him another rank of veterancy, which I'm sure this bomber will be happy about, getting that extra little boost of HP and health regen to a second, as he goes and drops a bomb on the reclaim, getting extra value out of this T1 bomber. And that's going to be very, very saddening for Team 2, as they have taken so much damage. And now there's a bomber out from Turbo 3. And there's a decent air cover. He has a lot of interceptors fighting over there on the eastern side, as he drops a bomb onto the engineer of Valone. You win Aeon, but unfortunately the Aeon just as susceptible to T1 bombers as all the other factions. I know it's a shame. They should just be invulnerable, as they are the best faction. But unfortunately not the case here in the Faflands, as we are going to see another couple of engineers going down, and that's going to be 3 engineers, and this is really going to set Team 1 ahead in this game, as they have managed to really just strike out very early and get a lot of kills onto build power, get a lot of value, even managed to bomb some reclaim. A T1 transport with a ton of engineers out for Slado Noob, gonna get shot down, but the T1 engineer, the majority drop of these engineers, does manage to land. T1 PD started up by Slado first. Is he gonna be able to hold on to this plateau? He wants the hydrocarbon and the 2 mexes really badly. The T1 PD gonna start off by firing into the T1 PD of Monada. Did I introduce Monada? I swear I did. Did I say the wrong name? If I didn't, here's Red Cybran going first land by the name of Monada. I feel I'm going crazy. Somebody please save me. as these T1 engineers managed to deny the expansion over here for Monada. Slado himself not going to be able to get the expansion anyways, as he does have the T1 PDs, but he doesn't have the engineers anymore. So a weird turn of events that just results in nobody getting this expansion plateau. But I'm sure we will see either a cliff build or another transport out momentarily. Transport about to finish up for Slado. Over here in the center, we have engineers dropping in the center, this time out from Turbo 3, and we also have a transport out from Monada, who is trying to get himself a bunch of reclaim from the looks of it. He's going to drop into this reclaim field and just try and steal it away. These high-level players, all about stealing reclaim, having a good time, even going to do some manual reclaim with one of these engineers and let the rest do automated reclaim. Very high APM, but very, very juicy plays coming out from these players very, very early on for us. We have some run-by attempts coming out from Swackle, not seeming to find any success as he runs directly into a comm. Over on the western side, Slado and the comm of the wheelie making their way over. Slado redropping this kind of expansion area, going to be able to throw up a factory, I would assume, and once that is done, we'll be in a very prime position to get some work done. Also going for this other plateau over here, so that should be pretty good for Team 2. Their expansion's now coming online properly. Overall, though, Team 2 is managing to be ahead economically, at least momentarily there. Both teams very even in their overall economic prowess at the moment. Let's go ahead and look over at Reclaim, though. That's where the game could be decided, as we're at 1,000 extra Reclaim for Team 1, and Team 2 is, or no, 2,000 extra Reclaim for Team 1. So Team 1 quite ahead on Reclaim figures so far. We'll go back to the mass numbers, keep that on screen so you all can gauge the effectiveness of their economies. We have range now on the way for Soul Ripper, speed and range on the way for Swoggle. Do we have any other upgrades finished up? Wheelie and Slado do not have an upgrade. Do we have an upgrade over here? Janus does not have an upgrade. Is an upgrade finished? Nope. No upgrades completely finished other than the T2 for Valone as of the moment. And he's going to push forward and I assume start Oblivion creeping the comm of Slado. Or not Slado, Swackle. The two SW ones in the game. Actually, they have a lot of letters in common. SWL... very, very kind of close in their names if you look at it with the right squint and tilt of the head. T2 now on the way for both the wheelie and for Quiet Storm. Janus Prime working on T2 himself. Speed now on the way after range has finished up for Soul Ripper. This middle expansion area that was formerly held by Soul Ripper has been dispatched and dealt with by the units of Turbo 3. He dropped some tanks up here. Now he just needs to drop a few engineers up there, and he can steal that away from Team 2. Team 1 overall feeling like they're doing a little bit better on expansion. Does feel as though they have maybe a 55-45 split on map control at the moment, and that's going to bode very well for the northern team as upgrades start to finish across the board. Stealth now about to be online for Swackle, who has already gotten that speed and range upgrade. A T2 PD has already been thrown up by Valone. He's now going to throw up a T1 radar. There's no upgrade on the comm of Orokamana. Gibberish, as we see a few units out now from Janus Prime, posturing and killing off a couple of T1 mexes and just trying to push back any kind of aggression that you might see out from Valone. Over here to the west, T2 has finished up for the wheelie, and he is not quite using it just yet. He's going to get up a T2 mex very early on the front line. Has a lot of T2 mexes. In fact, he's almost fully T2 mex right now, and that's going to make him a very happy camper as he is sitting on one of the highest economies at 51 mass a second, now 59. I believe that is the highest in the game. Orokamano is at 56, 54 for Quiet Storm, 52 for Janus Prime, 52 for, or 53 for Turbo, and that is all of the players over 50 mass a second. Gonna have to keep checking in on that as T2 is finished up for Janus Prime. Swackle engaged in a heated combat with structures and units, and he is going to be fighting with Valone here. Valone trying to just build up enough PD to really stop this gun comm in its tracks. Over on the western side, seems as though aggression about to break out between the Wheelie, Sladow, and Quiet Storm. Quiet Storm about to finish up his gun speed and range. He already has T2. He's set up a triad. He's bought himself a ton of time, although he needs to be careful. If some of these Zooies can manage to get into range and start firing on that comm, it will force a cancel if the comm cannot finish the upgrade in time. Now Sladow Noob and Wheelie starting to fight it out with the units of Quiet Storm. Quiet Storm's comm still relatively safe. He's up to 75% on that upgrade. It's rising quickly. He does have T2. Maybe wants to pause some factories or something just to make sure that finishes earlier, but it does seem as though Wheelie and Sladow Noob getting a little bit better on this engagement. Sladow Noob has no upgrades on the comm, but Wheelie has T2 and gun, so he's going to be very, very dangerous with the threat he can put out on that. In the center, we have Soul Ripper 77 starting to put some pressure down. He's moving westwardly towards the expansion of Quiet Storm, and we have some T2 PD now being built up by Janus Prime in the middle, trying to just cut off this kind of area. Although it's not going to be too helpful or a moment of solace now for the green UEF Quiet Storm, as he's now being pincered, attacked on two sides by very powerful gun comms. And he's going to have to hold out and weather the storm. Otherwise, his team is going to be suffering some terrible, terrible damage in the short term. Over here to the east, Valone and Swackle engaged in heated combat. Unfortunately, Valone has seemingly overextended. That T2 upgrade was not quite enough to keep Valone in it, and he is now going to go down to the gun comm of Swackle. It's going to be a slow death, but a painful one nonetheless, as Swackle sends all of his units down to the south as a run-by effort, and Valone's comm goes up in a nuclear hellfire of sadness and depression, because losing an Aeon comm is always just the absolute worst situation possible. Screen is white there now, as we can see the units of Swackle getting into the base, going to start killing off T2 mexes and vital economical structures. The base was originally handed over to the Wheelie, who had the strongest economy and score at the moment, but was gifted over to Oro Komano, who is now gifted it over to Soul Ripper 77. Did I call somebody Valone earlier? I did. Okay, never mind. That was Valone who was dying. Okay, for some reason I thought I called Soul Ripper Valone. I'm really losing my marbles here. My room is incredibly hot as I started up this cast and can't have the AC or fan on, as it does produce quite the audio issues. Over here to the south, the base of Oro Kamano. Okay, you know what? Your name is now Oscar. The base of Oscar is under siege. He loses a T2 shield generator, rebuilds it really quickly. Has a T3 Pigeon on the way, needs to keep his base intact just long enough. The comm of Oro, or Oscar, now making its way south to try and deal with these units. The main base, formerly belonging to Valone, now in the hands of Soul Ripper, is just starting to fall apart. It's really going down and dirty for Team 2 in this southwestern or southeastern corner. They are just in so much trouble down here, as Swackle is proving dominance over here on this eastern flank. On the western side, things aren't looking particularly better for Quiet Storm, except for the fact that he still has his base. It's not the end of the world, per se, for Team 2 on this eastern side, but they really need to staunch the bleeding, they really need to force Swackle back, and they really need to regain control of this territory. We have blazes now starting to be produced by the Cyan Aeon Soul Ripper, and he is starting to move over to try and defend this area. A lot of his forces were committed to trying to help against Quiet Storm, but unfortunately he must have not expected Swackle to get so much territory so quickly and to get so much pressure down so early on, as Swackle is running a one-man show, and it's called victory, as he makes his way forward towards his opposition's bases, trying to kill every unit he can with the comm, trying to work and milk this gun comm for everything it is worth. Fighting erupting everywhere. Blazes showing up, meaning that the T1 units out over here for Swackle under a little bit more threat, but he does have rhinos on the field, which are going to be very decent at dealing with blazes. He also has that gun comm, which can always just blap away at the blazes until they fall down. And by fall down, I mean stop hovering and die a very painful death. As on the western side, posturing happening for both sides. Seems as though the wheelie has managed to get up a tactical missile upgrade on the comm. It does seem as though most of his efforts with that tactical missile upgrade, though, have been thwarted, as there is, of course, TMD in the base. I don't see any major evidence that he's lost a large amount of economy recently. Over here to the east, Swakle has completely cleaned up the remnants of Willow. He has eliminated everything that once indicated an Aeon pink player was over here, except for one last factory, which is going to go down in 3, 2, 1. And that is Swakle asserting dominance, making a power play, and now I'm guessing he's going to try and expand to this position, as he's just not being stopped by anything on the field. We have broadswords starting to be produced. Broadswords could be extremely dangerous. Even if you have mobile flak, the broadswords will not be able to be shot down very quickly whatsoever. Swakle needs to be very careful and chooses next moves with great care. As over here to the west, Quiet Storm and the wheelie are starting to fight it out. Quiet Storm trying to get some damage down and get some push on to the comm of the wheelie, but wasn't quite able to. He's looking rather meek on the HP himself, down into the yellow, 6,300 HP versus the 12,000 HP of the wheelie. Slado Noob now moving his comm back from the front. He's down to 4,800 HP. Probably just doesn't want to be here anymore, as the wheelie and Slado have asserted some amount of control over this western side, but I'm sure the pressure is on both of them to make more happen. We now have multiple broadswords firing into the comm of Slado. Or not Slado, of Swakle. I've done that twice. Swakle and Slado, you're not allowed to be in games together anymore because my stupid Pee-wee caster brain can't handle it. Swakle going dangerously low on HP, down to 5,000 HP. That is not a lot for a broadsword to chew through, as the ASF out from Monda show up. Monada. Everybody has weird names this game. I'm unable to keep up. The wheelie, the wheelie, Soul Ripper, and Turbo are my... Oh, Janus Prime as well, are my solace in this game. They are providing me great calmness, as I can actually say their names properly. Quiet Storm under a lot of pressure now, as well as the comm of Soul Ripper, who's down to 5,000 HP. He's under a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of assault going on. Both of these sides of the map in dire danger of seeing a comm get ejected. So we're going to look over here. Quiet Storm down to 3,000 HP. The comm of Soul Ripper down to 200 HP. He's gonna go down. And with that, we're in a very unfortunate position. We now have 2 bases here, probably going to end up in the hands of Oro Komano, or maybe the wheelie or Slado will want to take over the responsibility of these bases. Over here to the northwest, the wheelie is breaking through. Quiet Storm under heavy pressure, and his own pillar is stopping him from running away. The wheelie may be able to just eject him from the game right now. It is up to the wheelie. His fate is in the hands of this Seraphim Heathen, as the wheelie, otherwise known as Farmschlet, is currently really trying to do his best Swakle impression over here on this flank, trying to push back all of these buildings. I know it doesn't make sense, you don't push back buildings, but he's going to destroy them nonetheless. As wheelie throws another couple of shots into Quiet Storm, maybe tactically keeping him alive. Quiet Storm only a 1,500, try and make it more difficult for your higher rated opponents to take over this base and have a decent game on their hams. Hams on their hams, yes. I play games on my hams. Quiet Storm now under a lot of pressure. He's gonna lose the base, but it does seem as though he's going to be allowed to walk away from this engagement unscathed. And that is going, I guess scathed, very scathed. He's leaving this discussion very much so he has lost the argument. Wheelie wins. But he's not dead, which is a good thing, as a ton of Corsairs are flying over and going for the mobile flak first. They do pick off a lot of the mobile flak, do need to fall back before the mobile flak manages to take out more of his Corsairs, trying to get off some damage, trying to possibly snipe that comm of the wheelie, but it's sitting on 20,000 HP. Corsairs are going to take a long time to deal with that. Does kill off the rest of the mobile flak. More is going to be coming up via the rear reinforcements. Over here to the southeast, Seems as though Oro did get this base, and Oscar is doing a wonderful job of fire basing, and he's going to be able to, at the very least, slow down Swakle. Janus Prime, who's been relatively quiet this game, is up to T3 land. He's now starting to produce Percivals, getting him stuck in his own engineer support grid, but they do exist, and they're coming over here to try and help out Quiet Storm. Slado and Janus trying to pressure over here on this eastern side, whereas Wheelie trying to just destroy all of the remnants of Quiet Storm's base. Quiet Storm's been reduced to an air factory and a bunch of T1 Pigeons, as the armies of the Wheelie have managed to create this absolute power vacuum here. There's nothing in the area to really deal with this force, and they are threatening towards the main bases of Monada, and Janus. Janus may have a decent shot of stopping these forces, is starting to produce some Titans, does have a few Percivals out onto the field, and these Percivals are going to be able to take pot shots from afar. If he keeps the Titans in front, you can definitely buffer for them, use them kind of like a pseudo sniper bot, even though they do not have the exact same kind of massive range at their disposal. Broadswords now on the front lines, taking out these T1 units, spammed out by Swakle. Slado currently sitting on T3 air, so is Oro. Slado gave a lot of his mass extractors and his core base over to the Wheelie. Interesting play out from Slado, just really trying to hammer home this idea that the Wheelie will be able to make this push count for something, make this push the final one that his team needs. Interesting. If I could get Slado to come into the comments. I know he is an avid watcher of Favcast, as are, I'm sure, a few of the people in here. I know a couple people in here who do watch my content. They will be able to tell me why exactly they gave over the mass extractors. So go down in the comments and let me know. And while you're down there, go ahead and tell me how your day is going. Laser now on the way for Monada. Why do I keep on wanting to say Moanda? Is it because of that Moana movie? I don't know. But Monada is currently working... I'm going to call him Monica, just a reference to Doki Doki Literature Club. As Laser is 70% complete. That is going to be a very dangerous upgrade. Could result in some deaths. As Slado and Wheelie, they do have some beefy comms here on the front line. Wheelie much more so than Slado, but could be dangerous. Swakle on a vacation. He's managed to walk his 5-vet Cuncom all the way over here to the western side and say, alright, I'm here, how can I help? Monada about to have Laser finished up. The response out from Slado. Oh, Quiet Storm! Quiet Storm goes down to Slado. It must have been this T2PD. I wasn't even paying attention to his HP. I mean, I was looking in the right area, so you can't claim I missed it. But the comm of Quiet Storm goes down. Tried to do everything in his power to stop this assault, but just fell short. Whether it was skill or whether it was overall economic numbers against him, he just was unable to show up when it mattered most and hold the line. Neither of our players who were spawned in this unfortunate position were able to hold on to their base, and their entire base gets destroyed on both fronts. Laser has finished up. Monada not deciding to be aggressive with it. Now he reveals the Laser. Wheelie will know that Laser is here as long as he is looking. We also have a bunch of Titans and Percivals now on this south side of this engagement, starting to push towards the comm, starting to push some damage down. The assault is vigorous and deadly. These players are trying their best to hold out. So many comms in the area, so much action going on. The comm of Monada instantly going up to 3 ranks of veterancy, as that Laser has disagreements with the ground, but when it does see a unit, that unit is not long for this world. We have a bunch of Corsairs also helping with the defense. Over on the southeastern side, it seems as though there was an artillery war being waged. I believe this Ravager can just shoot the artillery, so that really is that takes the wind out of the sails of the artillery spamming player. With all of these Titans and Percivals pushing southwards, we're seeing a lot of damage being thrown down. These Titans going to be able to get into the backline. There doesn't seem to be anything here to stop them. Don't see any T3 units yet out from the Wheelie. I take that back. He does have a couple of Othams on the field, but this many Titans will be able to deal with with one or two Autumns just fine. He's going to continue to push forward. The danger of this push, of course, going to be the fact that if he loses this, if he does not deal any economic damage, this is just a massive mass dump, and these players, Slido and the Wheelie, will be sucking it up about as quickly as they can suck. And trust me, these players, they suck. It's so fun to say stuff like that and it be a compliment and not an insult towards some of the best players in the game. 2400 is pretty difficult to achieve, if you ask anybody. As over here in the center, we have Bricks out from Swackle, assisted by a myriad, a menagerie as you would, of units from the Tech 1 to Tech 2 phase. These Bricks going to be pushing in towards this base, formerly held by Soul Ripper and now in the hands of Slido. That laser comm out from Monada is definitely a threat. We also have these broadswords in the back line that were helping deal with those Titans, and that's going to leave a ton of mass over here. 17,000 mass. If we zoom in even more, 12,000 mass for the players to scoop up right there. And I'm sure we will already see engineers in the area. Yes, Slido already has engineers in the area. Slido got his mexes back, which is interesting. Usually when you give a higher rated player mexes, they do not give them back. That's my experience thus far, but teamwork makes the dream work. A hydrocarbon just now blew up, which is inconsequential but interesting. Do we have anything spicy coming out from these players? I'm sure I'm missing something. Large air engagement in which the ASF out from Turbo 3, who we haven't spoken about too much other than his Corsair play, kill off the broadsword of Oro Komano. And now we are in a situation where the air game is going to become important. I know you all hate me for that earlier high-level cast where I missed a massive air engagement. Going to try and keep my eyes on these ASF the best I can. Am human, will miss things. Although most of you in the comments are relatively civil, just saying it's a bummer. Others are very upset. As we meander our way to the 25-minute mark. I guess now would be a good a time as any, as we have a little bit of a lull, just some artillery spam going on, and the base of Monada actually going down, but we can check out the economies really quickly. The Wheelie is sitting at 234, 217 for Oro. Swackle sitting on 186, 129 as more and more structures go down to this this fire. Monada going to slowly lose his economy, but at the moment at 130. Janus Prime at 126, and everybody else below 100. Slido slacking on the economy. Lost some structures over here. Oh my lord, I missed something important. Alright, go into the comments and tell me what that was, and yell at me for looking at anything but where the explosions happened. I do believe that may have been some kind of airplay. Maybe that was the Corsairs from earlier. Can we maybe gather? Yes, it was the Corsairs. It was a Corsair snipe onto the power grid. Those are Corsair wrecks indeed. And that is unfortunate, though, for Slido. Once he gets his power fixed, I'm sure his economy will skyrocket back up, even though he's playing a relatively low economy game. Over here to the northwest, a large push now in towards the base. This massive fire base set up by Slido and Wheelie, and Monada is now slated to die. Okay, wow, those Cybran, or those Seraphim PD really not doing the job there, but Monada now dies as this large push comes down and bears down onto the base built by so much mass of Slido and Wheelie. We now have our first explosion. Will we see more? Will more players go down? Janus Prime has his comms somewhere in this engagement. We also have the comms of both Slido and the Wheelie showing up to fight. Could be a dangerous situation for either side. I believe that Slido and the Wheelie have a slight advantage with their massive firebase now built up. The comm of Janus Prime over there at 18,000 HP. He does have shields, so that will slowly regenerate, but he's eating a lot of T2 PD fire. Needs to be careful. He's down to 9,000 HP and falling. Wheelie and Slido walking away from this at almost full HP. A very, very close call for both sides. Unfortunately, Monada going down. Large air engagement going on. Janus Prime getting taken out by the wheelie. That was the comm of the wheelie chasing him down. The air engagement goes very, very poorly for Oro. And now we have air supremacy achieved by Turbo 3. It's Turbo 3 and Swackle versus the world. I would be surprised if Swackle holds on to all of this. There is now a Monkey Lord on the way for Turbo 3. This might be enough with the Firebase as weakened as it is. I think it'll be a hard ask for Slado and Wheelie to stop a Monkey Lord, and I don't believe they know it's coming. Maybe a scout flew over in time. A lot of pings coming out from Soul Ripper. This is gonna be a dangerous situation. Wheelie and Slado need to be careful. If they die, the entire base for Team 2 will be run by one player, and that player is gonna be Oro Komano. And this could be very dangerous. The Monkey Lord is starting to come in. It's going to be a very, very spicy game. This Monkey Lord starting to stroll into range of the Firebase, starting to fire into that shield, gonna be taking it down momentarily. The comm of Wheelie stops running away for an ill-advised moment. We have a bunch of Volthus now out on the field trying to shut down this Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord has a lot of HP to through 6,000, trying to shut down the comm of Wheelie. It cannot manage it. Wheelie and Slado hold on against all odds against the Monkey Lord. Neither comm going down, both comms perfectly healthy. And this is going to be a nail-biter of a game, it would seem, as these players are continuously enraptured in combat. Wheelie and Slado under a lot of threat. Do we have another Monkey Lord on the way? We do. Another Monkey Lord is about to finish up. Wheelie and Slado probably should get their comms off the front line. Experimentals coming out is no bueno for any of the players here. None of them are in a great position to deal with a couple of experimentals rolling up on you, and these comms dangerously exposed over here on the northwestern side. Oro has very admirably managed to push back Swackle all the way off the main territory that is his. Would like to see maybe a few more units coming out and maybe use these broadswords to clean up some of this situation coming on down here. We now have some T2 artillery sieging the main bases of these players. Oro needs to probably set up a little bit more shielding. Another Monkey Lord finished up. A Monkey Lord about to finish up for Swackle. And a large force out from the Wheelie. Now pushing in to the base, formerly of Monada and now belonging to Swackle. Swackle going to be in a dangerous position. The Monkey Lord falling back away from the combat. Nano repair on the way now for Slado. Would be surprised to see Wheelie keep the tactical missile upgrade. Probably a better call to just go for Nano himself. Double Nano comm can be very, very scary. Swackle has finished up his Monkey Lord. We now have two Monkey Lords on the field. This push, though, is extremely dangerous, and it needs to be answered. It's starting to push into the base of Swackle, formerly held by Janus Prime, and now we are seeing absolute devastation rain down onto this base. No, you did not check your forecast incorrectly. It is indeed raining Zooey fire all over to your UEF base, and this is going to be a very, very sad situation for Swackle. He's going to be losing so much territory due to this, and he's going to lose a decent amount of economy as well. T3 UEF tech also going to be taken off the board if he hasn't run an engineer away from this situation. Spider now on the way to try and help clean this up. Another Spider going on the other side of the map, as this base has been ravaged and destroyed by the overwhelming force that is the Wheelie. The Wheelie and Slado have really used teamwork this game to their advantage. They're both sitting on very, very strong situations. Advanced Nano Repair now on the way for the Wheelie. Slado Noob sitting on normal Nano Repair. Seems as though he's going to go assist the Wheelie in his upgrade. As the Monkey Lord draws closer, do we have any Yathotas or anything of the sort on the field? No, we do not. A Yathoda, or a GC now about to finish up for Oro. A Monkey Lord pushing through the middle now for Turbo 3. Turbo 3 still managing to keep complete air control, it would seem. As these players on Team 2 not really focusing on the air control aspect, much more happy to build gunships and use them, sacrifice them for the damage they can provide. Advanced Nano Repair now finished up for the wheelie. He's sitting on 53,000 HP. Slado sitting on 18,000. This Monkey Lord, if it does come into range, will have struggles fighting against these comms. The comms have more HP when you combine them than this Monkey Lord. Wheelie alone has more HP. Wheelie has finished up his own chicken. A Monkey Lord now pushing into the base originally belonging to Soul Ripper. Oro and Slado need to come up with a solution to this quickly, as the Monkey Lord for Swackle is now pushing in onto the comms of the Wheelie and Slado Noob, but does decide better of it, does not continue pushing in towards those commanders. Monkey Lord now making its way into the main base of Slado. GC is going to show up, is going to be able to chase it down. The question is, how much economic damage can this Monkey Lord do before this GC can catch up and deal with it? I believe the Monkey Lord might even be slightly faster than the GC. Up to the northwest, Wheelie and Slado pushing forward against a Monkey Lord. This is how much they trust that their comms can defeat it. As the Monkey Lord starts making its way into Slado's base, kills off the power grid. Oh, so critical that you don't lose that. And unfortunately, has a chicken now showing up for Wheelie on the other side. This is a sandwich of pain and destruction for the Monkey Lord, but he will attempt to get as much economic damage as possible, trying to stay alive that little bit longer. Doesn't fire at the T3 mechs, instead focusing its laser towards the GC. Does go down. That's going to be a mass dump, but it did get a lot of damage down onto Slado there. Slado has admittedly, though, expanded all the way up the map. I'm sure he's in a power stall right now, which he would be very happy to not be in. No, he's not, as his allies are sustaining him a little bit. And we have two Monkey Lords on the field. This is starting to get a little bit sus. Wheelie and Slado do not know fear. The most lopsided 2v2 in history. As two Monkey Lords going to come upon two nano comms. One much scarier than the other. And both of them are going to focus down the Wheelie first. Maybe that's the wrong choice. Gives more time for overcharges coming out from Slado, but maybe they just want Wheelie off the board. Wheelie goes down, and Slado soon to follow. One of the Monkey Lords does go down. Can Slado survive? No, he cannot. And the Monkey Lord most likely going to die relatively soon. He's got 24,000 HP, but there's an entire army around this area. There is the entire base over here. Oro is going to be getting a massive base, and now Oro is left to fight off Turbo and Swackle all by himself. He is lower rated than both of these players, but he has an overwhelming economy. 850 mass a second, more than double of all of Team 1 at this point. Slado and Wheelie have really worn down the bases and economies of Swackle and Turbo. And we now have a GC in the middle starting to just push forward, starting to deal with this siege that's been going on. The artillery wars between Swackle and Oro going to end at the hands of a GC, or should I say the face laser of it. Needs to kill off these artillery. Please kill off the artillery. It'll probably even get you a rank of veterancy. Turn and kill off the artillery! Okay, it's gonna turn. Is it gonna kill off the artillery? No, well, yes, it is. Okay. Will it get a rank of veterancy from all this artillery? It might. It's gonna be close. Yeah, no, it gets a rank of veterancy. That's gonna be a very juicy situation for that GC. Oro, now focusing on ASF protection, trying to shut down these Corsairs and the couple of Strat Bombers trying to deal with the GC. Needs to be careful, needs to not take this air engagement. Gonna go very, very poorly for Oro. Does seem as though they may have close to equal numbers, but Oro, I think, had less to begin with and also doesn't micro it. The GC gonna live to fight another day. Not that that Air Force was too much to worry about. A Megalith out from Swackle over here on the western side, starting to push into this former fire base of Swackle and of Slado and Wheelie. Yet again, I'm banning Swackle and Slado from ever playing games together. Your names, for some reason, just my monkey brain cannot understand that your names are different. They are the same. And apparently both of you are Swackle, because I'm not getting Slido right nearly enough. Awasa on the way for Oro. That may be the game ender. In fact, if he comes in here and just suicide drops a bomb right here, it would definitely be the end. The only thing Team 1 has going for them is their air control. Double Yathoda showing up to deal with that Megalith. And this Megalith gonna have a very, very sad day. We saw the absolute limit of the Seraphim nano comms. And now we're seeing the absolute limit of a 1900 and a 2100 versus a 1700 with 3 times the mass income. Okay, it's only 2 times, but it sounds more epic when I say 3. Where'd the GC go? Is it dead? Nope, GC still pushing in. There's now 2 chickens to join it. And this experimental push is going to be a unwinnable situation now for the north side players. If they maybe had a Megalith or 2 or a couple more spiders, they could maybe hope to fight it. But these experimentals, there is a Megalith coming up the backside, but it's 3 experimentals versus a Megalith. The Megalith is good, but I don't know if it's that good. The T1 Air is trying to be used to its greatest effect, just trying to deal enough DPS to deal with this, and the Awasa comes in and drops a massive payload down onto the base of Swoggle and Turbo 3, and that's going to be game. The experimentals making their way into the base. The diversity of experimentals here is amazing. This game was amazing. This absolute battle for who can win their side the hardest and who can create the most devastating firebase. It would seem that Team 2 comes out the victors. The comms of Swackle, the comm of Turbo 2 now running away for their life. A Megalith trying to chase down these 3 experimentals, just not able to make it happen. As we have the absolute greatest experimental death push you could have asked for. Thank you all for watching. You all have been beautiful. Leave a comment down below telling me what you thought. Thank you to the Patreons and the channel members and anybody who supports the channel. Every little bit that you all give me in funding helps make this channel all a little bit better. You all are beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to see you in the next one because they turned the experimentals to hold fire. This is the most BM thing I think I have ever seen. Puts the experimentals on hold fire and then control K's the Yathodas on top of Turbo 3. Tried to use the stomping to kill off Swackle, or maybe just the control K to kill off Swackle. Oh my word, that was BM. We're gonna speed it up because there's 0 chance that this goes the way of Swackle. As a Awasa comes in. A strategic launch has been detected. And an Awasa coming in to control K-Bomb? Wow, that was BM. Thank you all for watching. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you to the Patreons, channel members, and everybody else. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.